Hey guys, welcome to my third and final public training for web designers. And today I'm going to be talking about the one thing that you need to know to make a full-time living as a web designer. But before we dive in, I want to let you know about a private training that I'm hosting very, very soon that's going to go into a lot more detail on this topic about how to make a full-time living as a web designer. So if you have been thinking about starting a web design business and you want to just get started on the right foot, get support, you are definitely going to want to go to webdesigneracademy.com, fill out that application. It's just 2 quick questions. And when you do, I'll invite you to my live private training that's happening at the end of the week that's going way more in depth on this topic of how to make a full-time living as a web designer. Also, if you're already working with clients and you are undercharging, over-delivering, frustrated, struggling, burnt out, you need to apply. You need to just go to webdesigneracademy.com, fill out that quick 2-question application, and apply to work with us. We can help you get that fixed and create a profitable, sustainable, and scalable web design business. Okay. So let's dive into what it takes to make a full-time living as a web designer. I am so passionate about this topic. You'll probably see me get up on my soapbox a little bit. I've got tons of notes because I want to make sure that I cover everything because this is so important. And the first thing is that you need to define for yourself what full-time living means. I very intentionally say full-time living as a web designer, and I don't say things like 6 figures or 10x your income or a lot of all that marketing jargon that you see other people talk about. I am very serious about you being able to support yourself and your family, and I'm not all about vanity metrics like 6 figures. Hey everyone that's joining, Denise and Marissa and Laura, thank you guys so much for watching. But like I said, I'm super serious about making sure that you can support yourself and your family and your business. And if 6 figures is what that takes, awesome. That is totally possible. We can help you get there. That's where I was when I first started my web design business. I wasn't making 6 figures yet, but I side hustled for 3 years. And by the end of that, I kept getting promotions and raises all throughout that time. And by the end, I was making 6 figures, and I was like, I'm not going to walk away from this to take a pay cut. That's not happening. So I needed to figure out how to create a consistent 6-figure revenue from my web design skills. And that is what I help my clients do. But 6 figures might not be what you need to make. And that did not happen overnight for me. And like I said, what I'm obsessed with more than any specific revenue number for you is your ability at first to consistently make the amount of money that you need to make to not have to take a pay cut, right? To maintain that current lifestyle or to even just get you where you want to be. So that is milestone number 1. We get you a consistent, stable, steady income that you know you can count on. That's what we do first. Yes, we have our big dream revenue goals, and we should have those. We should have something that we work towards, but we need that minimum baseline revenue first. Thank you, Laura. So I call that your minimum baseline revenue. And if you have listened to my podcast, Pep Talks for Side Hustlers, I do a monthly income report. And I talk about what's my minimum baseline? What do I need to pay myself a paycheck, pay taxes, pay business expenses, and what do I need to live? And so that number is super personal to you. So like I said, you might have these big financial goals, like 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, even $1 million from your business. And I wholeheartedly support those big goals. But we don't have to start there. And we don't need to, because we don't need to put that kind of pressure on ourselves right out of the gate. And B, we don't want to choose a number that yes is our dream life, but that our belief hasn't caught up with yet. Because right now, if you're like most of my clients inside the Web Designer Academy before they joined, You either haven't had a client yet, or you've been undercharging and over delivering and struggling for so long that your dream revenue goal seems so unattainable, so impossible, and just so unbelievable that you actually end up self-sabotaging your ability to even make the minimum baseline revenue income that you need to do life, right? So yes, we want to dream big, but that first milestone that we shoot for is our minimum baseline. We want consistent, sustainable revenue coming in to give us that foundation that we need to then scale from there, okay? So I want you to take a second and think about, like, what does full-time living really mean to you? Like, what is that number? So what is that number? And then you need to figure out, based on your current pricing, how many web design projects do you need to book every single month to make that happen? So let's think about, like, your monthly minimum baseline. How much money do you need to bring, like, pay yourself every single month? And how many web design projects do you need to book every single month to make that happen? And when you do the math on that, you are going to discover one of two things. You're going to either figure out that, yep, the math works out. You can actually do the number of projects in a month with the time that you have available. Now all you need to do is find the clients and get booked out. And once you're booked out, then you're ready to scale and add on more revenue sources, which is an amazing place to be. So if you're watching this and that's where you are, leave a comment, put your favorite emoji in the comments. I want to know who you are, because that's where some of our clients are before they come to find us, before they come to work with us. They're at that place where they're like, yep, my prices are in alignment with my minimum baseline. I see that the math works, and I am ready to, like, go all in on my marketing and get booked out so that I can then scale, right? That's one thing that you might find when you do the math. The other thing that you might find when you do the math is that it's going to become glaringly obvious if you're undercharging with your current pricing. And that is where the bulk of our clients are when they come to us. That is where I was when I first started freelancing. So if you're anything like me, when I first started freelancing, I was all on my own. I had no mentor. I had no one to guide me. I totally didn't value the skills that I brought to the table at all. If you missed my first couple of live streams on this topic, go back and watch those. You'll hear a little bit more about how that kind of plays into all of this. But there was no mathematically possible way, no humanly possible way that with what I was charging, I would ever be able to get anywhere close to my minimum baseline, let alone, like, even think of scaling, right? So it just wasn't possible. And if you're like a lot of our clients before working with us, that's where you are too. And this is where I want to offer you a choice. Like, you can either decide, like, oh, the math doesn't work out. It's not possible for me. I guess this isn't going to be the business for me. I'm going to go do something else because I can't charge more than that. I can't raise my rates and I can't fit more clients in. I guess this isn't just going to work out for me. Or you can just keep doing what you're doing and stay stuck and frustrated. Or you can decide to do some new math. Like, what if instead of booking, say, having to book like 10 or however many projects a month to make a full-time living, you only had to book 2 because you could raise your prices to make that happen. You might have to increase your price significantly over where you're at right now, but what if it was possible? Because I know a lot of you watching this think, I can't raise my prices. Like, no one would pay me that much for a website. I'm not qualified enough. I don't have enough experience. But what if it was possible? And what if there are people out there who are willing to pay you that much? And if you missed my live streams from earlier last week, that there are 3 mindset shifts that you need to make to raise your prices, and definitely go watch that if you haven't watched it. Because I'm here to tell you, there are people who will pay you that much. There are so many people out there who are tired of they're tired of having web designers that don't work out, right? So there are a lot of people out there who invest in themselves and in their businesses. They have big dreams for their businesses and they just need the right support. But they've been making a big mistake. And it's not, the big mistake that they have been making is hiring web designers at really cheap hourly rates, right? So it's like I'm on like this joint mission of like educating people who run online businesses that they need to pay their web designers a sustainable rate so that they can get good service. But I'm also on this other mission where I'm like, you guys need to charge what is a sustainable rate for you so that you can make a living. And here's why. Because there are so many people out there who are just tired of web designers ghosting them, being done with projects and just going away because they're so burnt out on web design, like trying to be a web designer for a year and then quitting after a year. And from the client's side, they're like, oh, that person ghosted me. They never got back to me. I can't get a hold of my web designer anymore. They made a mistake because they hired based on price, and then they got a web designer who was undercharging, over-delivering, completely overworked, completely burnt out, resentful, and had absolutely zero battery left at the end of the day to support them. That was me back in the day. I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do one-on-one web design work anymore. I quit. I'm teaching people how to do it themselves. So that was totally me. And if you've heard my story, you know that I decided to fix the problem and start offering one-on-one services again and all of that, and fixed it and figured it out. But it was a tough road to go. And so those clients, the people that hire cheap web designers, they learn the hard way that you get what you pay for. And it's not skill. It's not that they're paying for subpar skill. But there are way too many super smart people who are undercharging. I'm talking about sustainability. You get what you pay for in terms of sustainability and longevity in a long-term partnership when clients aren't willing to pay web designers a sustainable rate for work. And you guys cannot deliver an amazing result with a high level of service and support at these bargain basement prices. You just can't do it when you're overworked and burnt out and resentful. And I want you guys to know, all of you web designers out there to know that are watching this, it is not your fault. It is not your fault that you're undercharging and over delivering, because until now you did not know that you could do it differently. You didn't think that you could raise your prices and still be competitive. You did not know, you thought this is all I can charge. And if I raise my prices, no one's gonna work with me. But the opposite is true. The reason that you're having such a hard time is because you're not charging enough. I know it sounds so counterintuitive, but it's true. And you probably think you're having a hard time because your prices are too high, but it's really because they're too low. And, I talk about this in the Myth of the Expert Web Designer live stream that I did last week. It's your low prices combined with your compulsion, if you will, to overcompensate for your belief that you don't know enough, you're not good enough, all of that you're like, oh, I'm going to charge what I can charge, which is super low, but I'm going to over deliver, which is ultimately not sustainable and leaves you completely exhausted and completely burnt out and feeling like you could never even take on another web design client, right? So you have to get your prices to a point where they are sustainable. When you don't charge enough to make a full-time living as a web designer, you are doing yourself a disservice and you're doing your clients a disservice. You deserve better. Your clients deserve better. I am obsessed with helping my web designer clients serve their clients at the highest level, because that's when everybody starts winning. And it starts with you. It starts with you valuing what you bring to the table, putting a price on it accordingly, and communicating that value, because your clients don't know any better. They don't know what they don't know. And like I was talking about in the earlier live streams, when you're marketing the same way everybody else is marketing, the only construct that they have to make a decision is price, and you need to change the game for them so that they can get a better experience. And that is our responsibility as web designers. So to make a full-time living as a web designer, you have to just know what that minimum baseline revenue is for you. That's your first milestone. That's what you work towards. That's what you base your pricing on and everything. And then you do the math to figure out, like, is what you're charging now going to work? Do you need to increase your prices? Do you not need to increase your prices, but you just need to get more clients and you need to get booked out? Either way, we can help you with that. We can help you with both of those things. So I would love for you to go to webdesigneracademy.com, just fill out a quick 2-question application to apply to work with us. Accepted applicants are being invited to a free live private training that I'm hosting that's going to go way deeper on our full-time income framework and how we help our clients make a full-time living as a web designer, how we help you with all of these things. You literally have nothing to lose by applying. Just go to webdesigneracademy.com. If you have ever thought, I want to make a full-time living as a web designer, I want to quit my day job, I love doing this, I want this to work, go fill out that application. And then I can invite you to my live private training on Friday that's going to break down all of this for you in way more detail than what I can talk to you about on a 15-minute Instagram live. I would love to help you because there are so many business owners out there who are searching for web designers who can truly be a long-term partner that can help them with those long-term business goals, that are able to run a sustainable business and be there for the long term. So thank you, Classroom Design Co. I love that the Web Designer Academy has helped you so much. It's truly it's like my mission, I guess. It's my mission to help web designers start having thriving web design businesses. And, because when we do that, the ripple effect of that is so, so huge. So head on over to webdesigneracademy.com. If you missed those other live streams I did, you can watch the replays. They're just, you got to shift your mindset on all of this stuff. And I'm here to help you guys do that. So that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching me on the replay, you have any questions at all, go ahead and pop them in the comments. And for those of you that fill out my application, I will see you guys on Friday. We will go way more in depth on all of this, and I can't wait to share it all with you. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.